Hi, and welcome to this tutorial on the OAKS Dropbox. In this tutorial, we're going to create a new assignment. By the end of this tutorial, you'll understand and be able to create a file submission assignment, a text submission assignment, and explain how to allow for late submissions. So let's get started. We're going to begin in our OAKS class, and to access the assignment Dropbox tool, I'm going to choose grades from the upper navigation class, and to access the assignment Dropbox tool, I'm going to choose grades from the upper. Before we dive in, I want to explain a few things about the Dropbox, and we'll do it is just a method by which your students can send you on the left-hand side within the OAKS system. So the first thing we're going to do is give this can be graded or ungraded. As we scroll down, the next option are instructions. And you'll see I have instructions for a free typing box and an attachment. Different professors choose different methods by which to give their students the assignment instructions. Some prefer to do it in content. Some prefer to type it or paste it into this instructions box. And others prefer to attach their instructions that are already in PDF or Word format here by using the Add Attachments button. Whatever method you choose, just communicate that clearly to your students. Our next area is the assignment type, and you'll notice that we have two available, individual assignments and group assignments. The individual means exactly what it says. I'm an individual student who will be submitting my files to you. A group assignment allows the one person in the group to submit on behalf of everyone in the group, and when you grade it, that grade is applied to everyone in the group. However, this assumes that you have already used the OAKS group tool in advance, which we're not going to cover here, so I'm going to leave this with individual assignment. If you want to do a group assignment, I recommend that you contact your instructional technologist. Our next area is submission type. And while we have 4 types, you'll pretty much use the first 2. File submission means that the students will submit a physical document to you. They're going to upload something. That upload could be pretty much any file type you can think of, but they will upload something to you. Now, there are file types that cannot be uploaded. .bat files and .exe files cannot be uploaded, but you can get around that, and if you need to, you can contact your instructional technologist for more information on that. Text submission means that they will be given a text box, similar to this one right here, where they can free type information into this box, and that's actually their assignment submission. This is used when the students will be submitting something that exists only on the web. I made a Powtoon, or I made a Padlet, or something that exists on the web that generates a URL. This then allows me to paste that URL into the text box and submit that. I'm going to choose File Submission. There's a few best practices you need to know when you choose file submission, and the most important one is that you tell your students the file types you are willing to accept. I would recommend that you narrow that to Microsoft products, such as Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and PDF files. The reason being that students might have programs on their computer that they choose to use that you don't have on yours. Therefore, you're not able to view it. If they are submitting audio and video, they need to use industry standards such as MP3 for audio and MP4 for video. However, we do recommend that in those cases they don't actually upload the video directly to this assignment Dropbox. Instead, they publish it to an unlisted YouTube video or to Kaltura and place the link in the assignment Dropbox. These next 2 areas will change depending upon which of these submission types you've chosen, but I'm going to choose File Submission so we can discuss both of these. Now, the first one says, how many files can they submit? They can submit unlimited or 1 per submission. I would recommend leaving it as the default for unlimited. Now, this isn't unlimited forever. They can only submit during the window. But what this allows the students to do is maybe correct something that they've accidentally uploaded. They accidentally uploaded the wrong file. Now they need to re-upload. And if you have it as one file per submission, then they're not able to fix that. So I always leave it as unlimited. The next one is, what are you going to do with all of those files that they're uploading? So let me be clear, students very rarely will upload more files than are necessary. So this is not normally a big problem, and therefore I recommend all submissions are kept. Now, you may tell them I'm only going to grade the last file submitted, but in this case, it's best to keep all of the submissions, and that way you could go back if there was any sort of discrepancy. So for these two, I've gone with the default. As we scroll down, you get notification email. This will send you an email every time a student submits a file. It's personal preference as to whether you would like to put your email address in there or not. Category in the assignment Dropbox is not required and only is used to organize assignments. I don't have any categories, so I'm going to leave this blank. Now on to evaluation and feedback. How many points is this assignment worth? Now you'll notice there's no asterisk next to this, and that's because Dropbox assignments do not have to be graded. So I can leave this completely blank, but still give feedback, and that's a great way to take rough drafts of papers or any kind of an idea that you want them to submit to you, but isn't necessarily graded. In this case, however, I am going to grade it. I'm going to give it 100 points. My next option is grade item, and that means that when I grade my assignment, I want it to go directly into the grade book. If I click this drop-down menu, then it shows me all of the grade items that I have in my grade book. If I need to make a new grade item, I can do so by clicking on the New Grade Item button, choosing Numeric, giving it a name, and I'll scroll down to give it a point value. That's all I need to do. All I've done is said numeric, name, and point value, and I'll click Save here. And now that is the grade column that this assignment's grade will go into. If you use rubrics, you can add a rubric here, but again, this is using the rubric tool within OAKS and not your own personal rubric that you may have in Word. So we're not going to cover this today. All right, I'm going to go back to the top and review what we've done. We've given it a name. I've left the default of individual assignment. I've left the default of file submission, unlimited, and submit all are kept. I've not put my email address in for notifications, nor have I given it a category. But I did give it an evaluation of 100 points and attached it to a grade column. So there's really only one more thing I need to do to this assignment, and that's to put my restrictions on it. If I were to save and close right now, the students would be able to submit immediately and can submit until the end of the semester. But I need to put some parameters on this. So I'm going to choose the Restrictions tab back at the top of my page. It's the second tab from the left. So the first thing I want to do is determine my date range. So you'll see that I have start date, end date, and due date. I'm going to allow this assignment to begin on Friday. So I'm going to check the box next to start date and click the 10th at 7:30 in the morning. I want the due date to be Monday, but I will accept late assignments for a deduction in points until Tuesday. So I'm going to choose the due date up here at the top, and my due date will be Monday. Actually, I'm going to make it 11:30 at night. But because I'm willing to accept late assignments, I can choose an end date as well. And my end date will be the 21st, also at 11:30. Now the great thing about this is when a student goes in and submits any time between the 20th at 11:30 and the 21st at 11:30, it'll be marked as late in red letters. So you'll know right away which students were late. So that's the difference in due date and end date. If I don't accept late work, I don't have to choose an end date and only a due date. And the students can only submit their assignments between the 10th and the 20th. Now, unlike other tools, you'll notice that there's not an Add to Calendar button down here, and that's because assignments are automatically added to the OAKS calendar. While this doesn't happen often in the assignment Dropbox, if you do have a student that needs special access, meaning they need to submit their assignment outside of these date parameters in which you've established, you can come down to the bottom and choose the special access area and add a new open and close date for 1 or 2 specific students. I'm finished here. All I really did on this restrictions tab was choose when it's due and when it opens. We'll hit save and close. You'll see here's my assignment. It shows that no one has completed it yet. I haven't evaluated any yet, and that it is due on April 20th at 11:30. If I need to edit any of these settings, I can choose the small drop-down arrow next to assignment 1 and choose Edit Folder, and come back in to edit any of the settings that I already created. So while it appeared that there were a lot of settings, really all we did was do New Folder. We gave it a name, we gave it a point value, and we told it to connect to the gradebook. We also chose our submission type, be it file or text. Those were the primary things that we did on that first tab. Next, on the Restrictions tab, all we did was choose the open and close dates. So hopefully you see that creating an assignment Dropbox isn't nearly as daunting as you may have thought.